Alright guys, welcome to another free tutorial today. So today we'll be we'll be drafting different kind of necklines. So if this is what you would like to learn, kindly keep on watching this video, like it, subscribe to give me that encouragement, and then let us start. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to draft all my bodies, and then I didn't cut any of the neck. I only cut my shoulder slope and then my armhole, and then now I'm trying to label all my patterns. I have my chest line, my bust line, and I have my chest line and my bust line, and then the last is the waistline. So the first neckline we are cutting is the normal round neckline. So the normal round neckline, we are using 3 by 3 as a standard. So 3 to the length of the material, to the width, and then to the depth. Don't mind me, I'm saying to the length, to the width. So the width is towards the shoulder, and then the depth of the neck. So I'm also using 3 by 3. So now I'm just going around to, since I didn't really have my armor cuff with me, so I'm going in from that edge by 1.5 inch, just trying to get that curve, and then use my pattern master to trace it. If you are not satisfied with what you have at the end of the day, you can just go ahead and then do it however it is you want. There is no hard rules to getting your round neck curve. Okay, so now I've been able to do my 3 by 3, and this is what I have. And then after that, I'll just go ahead and label it. Okay, so now I still want to come down like maybe 1/2 inch, so that means it's 3 by 3.5. The depth is 3.5, while the width is 3 inches. So I'm now connecting it back to that width, and then I'll cut it now. So you can go ahead and do 4 by 4, it depends. Just have that round neck shape. Okay, all right, so that is that for the round neck. All right, so the next one is our scoop neckline. Yeah, the scoop neckline, as you can see in the picture, so is, or some call it U neckline. It depends on how deep you want it to be. So for the scoop neckline, I'll be using 6 inches. You can use 5.5, you can use 7 inches as I'm demonstrating. So but I will be using 6 inches. Okay, so then you determine your width. So how wide do you want the neck to be, and then how deep do you want it to be? So let's first of all try 3 inches to the width, and then 6 inches to the depth. So first of all try that now, and then see the outcome. So after that, I'll also go ahead to demonstrate other measurements. So we'll try 7, and then to the width we try maybe 3.5 or 4, and then we just cut like so. So I'm just going ahead to demonstrate now. So I'm using 7 now. I've come down by 1 inch, 7 to the depth of the neck, and then I'm still connecting it back to that 3 inches to the width. Okay, so you can see they are still on the straight line of that width. Okay, so right about now, we'll just go ahead and tighten up our neck. So I'm trying to take up my accurate dart leg, which is 3.5, and so from that I'll connect it to my neck. Okay, from the bust point you connect it to your neck, and then tighten it up by 0.5 inch or 0.25 on the two side. Okay, so you just cut through so now I'm cutting through the first neckline. Okay, so it will help me to tighten up. That one is not too deep, so you can see it doesn't really need a tightening. So to cut through the next one now, I may just want to cut through the waist. Okay, because that one is 7.5, 7 inches, so I'm just tightening it up. Okay, So I'm tracing it before cutting the neck. It's still on the 3 inches width. So I'll use my sellotape to hold it and then cut through that neckline. So we've tightened it up so it won't keep. Your neck will be well seated on your body. So that's the whole excess of tightening up our neckline. Okay, I hope you guys understand. Feel free to ask questions and please like this video. Okay, so now I'm just going ahead to hold the other part with sellotape. So if you are cutting it on your clothes, there won't be any issue. So now we want to go in by 1 inch to the width and then just connect it down to the 7 inches. Okay, so that means we're having 4 inches width and 7 inches depth, and then we just connect it using our pattern master to connect still the U. Just draw it to the head, to the edge, the other edge. Okay, so and then cut. And since you have already tightened up that neck, everything will still be in shape, and then your clothes will not be out of place, your neck will not be out of place by the time you or your client are putting it on. Okay, so yeah, that's that for the U neckline or scoop neckline. Okay. All right, so our next neckline right now is sweetheart neck. So as you can see on my sweetheart neck, I go in by 4.5 inches and then I'm going down by 7 inches. Okay, so I'll just square those line. I'm marking that 7 inches down, so I'll be able to square it all across, as you can see. So you square it all across. You can use 4 inches, you can use 3 inches, you can use for the neck width, but for the neck depth, don't go below 6 inches. Okay, so that you'll be able to have that sweetheart, beautiful sweetheart neck. So on that 7 inches, I'm coming up by 2.5 inches. You can come up by 2 inches. Okay, so we'll try and demonstrate 2 inches as well. So as you can see, I'm demonstrating 2 inches now. Okay, so now let's first of all connect it to the 2.5 inches. Okay, so to the 2 inches. Now we are connecting to the 2.5 inches. I'm using my pen. Okay, so now we'll cut the first one, which is the 2.5 inches, the upper one, and then show you. Can you see? So that is that. So if you want to go down a bit as well, you cut the 2 inches. Okay, mind you, everything is still on that 7 inches depth. It's just how much you want your sweetheart to be. So that's our sweetheart neckline. Okay, there's no need for tightening of this. There's no need tightening that up. So we'll move to the next neckline now, which is our straight neckline. So here you want to determine how you want the depth of the neckline, the depth. So I'm using 7 inches actually. You can go below, you can go above, you can use 6. Okay, you can even use 5.5. Okay, so just chest line, I'm just leaving it, I'm using my chest line. Okay, so you can go below, that's what I'm saying. You can go above, you can just play around with your pattern. Just make sure that you are doing what is comfortable for you and your client. Okay, so I'm just trying to show us that it doesn't necessarily have to be straight. You can just try and put a little bit of curve at the top, just to make it a little bit curvy, but not too curvy. Okay, just to give it that a little bit curvy. And then one thing I didn't do on this pattern is I didn't tighten it up. Please tighten it up so that the body is not straight. So it will be firm on your body to hold your body, okay? So tighten it up. So I'm just trying to illustrate both the 5 inch, both the 6, 7 inches and the 6 inches. So I'm cutting the 6 inches now, as you can see. So, and then I'm cutting the 7 inches. So to tighten it up, you just connect that your dart leg, okay, straight head, and then the way we did for the other one. So you just connect it like so. You just tighten it up by maybe 0.5 inches or 1 inch. All right, so now we are moving on to our next neckline, which is our canoe neckline. Okay, so for the canoe neckline, it's very simple. The neck width, please don't let it be less than 5, so that we can have that canoe shape. And then the neck depth, don't let it be more than 3 or 3.5. I usually use 2.5, depends on how high you want the neck to be. But for the neck width, make sure it is up to 5. Use 5, use 5.5. You can use 6. And then for the neck depth, I usually use 2. Sometimes I use 2.5, but here I'm using 2. Okay, so you just connect it straight. Even by the time you connect it, you will notice that you already have that canoe shape on your neck. Okay, so I'm just going to demonstrate when I use different measurement. I used 5 and then I used 5.5 for the width. So we'll just go ahead and cut the 5 first and then cut the 5.5. So we'll just illustrate that for us to see. So we'll go ahead now and cut the 5, still on the neck depth, which is 2 inches. So like I said, you can go down by 2.5 inch. All right, so yeah, that is it. That's you can see the canoe neck. Really feel the vibe, man. Okay, so next will be our square neckline. Yeah, so square neckline. So for the square neckline, as you can see, I'm going by the neck width, 4 inches, 4.5. Can go by 5 inches for the width. So we are demonstrating 4.5 now. The neck depth, first we'll demonstrate 7. We'll demonstrate 7 and 5.5. Okay, so then we'll connect it. Let's connect it first and then we'll see. So first of all, connect to the 7, which is the 7 depth. They will now demonstrate the 5.5 as well. Okay, so you can see that what we measured there is 4.5. Now let's also measure 5 for the neck width. I'm also going to measure 6 as well. Don't mind me. I just want to, illustrate this as much as possible so that we'll see that no more boring neckline, guys. Okay, so let's just go ahead now and square to the 5.5 for the width first. Okay, so let's cut it. That's 5.5 to the width, to the 4.5 to the depth. That's what it looks like. So let's now cut the 7.5, the 7 inches to the depth, okay, to the 4.5 to the width. Still that 4.5. You can see what we have. Okay, all right, so let's now cut to the 5 inches to the width. Can you see? Very beautiful. All right, so we'll move on to our next neckline, which is our queen hand neckline. So for the queen hand neckline, Most of the time, some use 2.5, some use 3, some use 3.5, some use 4. Okay, because there are some that always look like a built-up neckline. It's very close to their neck, like very close. So those ones, they don't use too much measurement for their neck width. So, but for me, I'm using 3.5. I'm using 3.5 for the width, and then we are also using 7. So, we want to demonstrate the two and then see how it goes. So, I'm marking 3 so as to have a straight line first, and then now I will also go ahead to mark to square down the 3.5 and then join it to the 7 inches depth. So, and then from that point, I'll just come up like 2 inches, like we did for our sweetheart neck. It can come up like 2 inches, and then towards, if you notice, your queen hand neckline is always deep towards the armhole. So you want to determine how deep you want it to be. On that 2 inches you come up with, okay? So from me, I use 2.5 inward, okay? So you will now connect it from your neck width. So I'm just squaring it across so that I won't be confused, okay? From that 2 inches down to how deep you want it to be towards your armhole, then connect it from your neck width down to that place, okay? To form that, queen hand as we connect the 2 point and then connect the sweetheart neck. So I'm connecting it to the 3 inches now. So I've connected it to the 3 inches, and then we'll now connect from that 3 inches, we'll connect down to the 7 inches to form the sweetheart neckline. So can you see? So with that, to form our queen hand neckline, 3 to the width and 7 to the depth, 3 by 7. So then let's demonstrate the 3.5 inches. Okay, so I also go in a bit deeper than that of the 3 inches and then connect it as well. So you can also go down. I'm also trying to go down a bit. I have an inch. Okay, so what all I'm just demonstrating is that yours can be deeper, can be, play around with it. So we connect it. All right, so voila, our queen hand neckline is ready. So now we are just trying to tighten it up so that it won't gape. So you just open the dart leg on the waist, and then I'm using 1/2 inch, so I'll connect it to the bust point. And then I've opened the dart leg. I'm just cutting a bit out so I'll be able to close up. We don't have, since we are not cutting a bustier. Assuming we are cutting a bustier, then you can cut through. We are not cutting a bustier, so just tighten it up, close it up, and then by the time you are cutting on your garment or your fabric, you won't have any form of joining at the front, since that's, yes. So we've been able to achieve that. Can you see? So we've cut the first one. So we're just closing it up, and then we'll go ahead now and cut the second one. So even for the first one, it's not too deep, and then you see that even for the second one, it's not too deep. It just depends on individual preference. Okay, so I'll cut. All right, so I've gone ahead to cut the last part, and that is it. Our queen hand neck line is looking so nice. I have to record this part again. I mistakenly deleted the file. Alright, so this brings us to the end of this video. If you are not like this video, please like it so YouTube can push it to more people, and then subscribe. Bye.